Plus, a popular bike ride in Helena looked a little bit different this year, how some riders are making the most of this year's virtual competition. And later, Winston Gurley shows us his favorite ways to cook up your latest catch. It's this week's FWP Outdoor Report. Thanks so much for spending your Sunday night with us. I'm Matt Holzaffel. An Amber Alert was issued late last night for an abducted 6-month-old baby out of Flathead County, taken by his non-custodial father and his girlfriend. According to the alert, Andrew Warner and Haley Emerson abducted 6-month-old Lucas Warner from Columbia Falls on Saturday. Andrew is the non-custodial father and is reportedly bipolar and off his medication. Andrew is 20 years old, about 6 feet tall, white, 160 pounds, and has blonde hair and hazel eyes. Emerson is 19. She's also white, 5 foot, 159 pounds, with blonde hair and green eyes. The alert was issued searching for a white 1990s to 2000 Chevrolet extended pickup truck with unknown plates. The Dodge Dakota in the previous alert has been located. Possible destinations include the Bob Marshall Wilderness, South Dakota, North Dakota, and Wyoming. If you have any information, call the Flathead County Sheriff at 406-758-5610. Just over 50 new cases of COVID-19 in the state of Montana today. Let's take a look at those numbers. Just under 6,500 total confirmed cases. Meanwhile, our active case count sits just a hair under 1,500. Almost 5,000 recoveries through the state. Some good news there. Cascade County shows 32 active cases at the moment. Lewis and Clark County has 40 active cases. Montana, though, still ahead of Hawaii, Alaska, Maine, Wyoming, and Vermont in total cases. That puts us at 45th among the United States. Well, you made it through the last 5 months of the pandemic using online streaming services alone, but this weekend will be the last you'll have to opt for an in-home movie experience. This Thursday, Great Falls AMC will be back in business as part of the company's efforts to reopen the majority of their theaters before Labor Day weekend. However, you will notice some changes to your movie-going experience when you return to the theater. Moviegoers must wear masks upon entry and only remove them when consuming concessions. Concession menus will be shorter to prevent long lines from forming, and auditorium capacities will be reduced to 40% or less to ensure physical distancing. You can head to our website for an in-depth explanation of these changes. We're now just 72 days away from Election Day in the United States, and mail-in ballots have been a part of the election process for years. But as the nation grapples with the effects of a global pandemic, mail-in voting is more essential to voter participation than ever. MTN's Lindsay Hyatt addresses concerns voters like you might have about the U.S. Postal Service, mail-in ballots, and making sure your vote is counted.
As many voters plan to vote by mail this year due to safety reasons, concerns about the safety of their ballots are on the rise.
Voters have voiced concerns about whether the United States Postal Service will be able to handle a quantity of mail-in ballots like never before. In preparation for high mail-in ballot participation, Postmaster General Louis DeJoy has expanded current leadership task force involved with election mail and will employ any resources needed beginning October 1st. DeJoy stressed that the USPS's #1 goal between now and Election Day is to deliver the nation's election mail on time and up to standard. In order to prevent the appearance of any interference with election mail, he has suspended operational changes planned prior to his assumption of the Postmaster General title. For any voters concerned about changes that might occur, DeJoy assures the public that retail hours will remain the same, mail processing equipment and collection boxes will remain in place, and mail processing facilities will remain open. Reporting in Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
And Postmaster General DeJoy will meet with government officials on Capitol Hill this week to discuss the mail-in election in more detail. Well, it was a warm day across the state with an even warmer day coming tomorrow. Our Storm Tracker weather team is here to give us the details. Grant Garland joins us now. Grant?
That's right, Matt. We were 10 to 15 degrees warmer than the typical average for this time of year, and that's going to be the same case, if not even warmer, tomorrow. Go ahead and take a look at these numbers. 92 degrees in Great Falls, Helena, as well as Havre, 87 in Glasgow, 90 in Jordan. Tomorrow, 96 for the Electric City, 94 in the capital, 95 in Hayes, as well as looking at 98 in Havre, 101 in Glasgow. So guess what? Get ready for a very warm day tomorrow, but a big cool down is on the way. I can't wait to talk to you about that in a little bit. 74 degrees right now in Helena, 71 in Great Falls, 69 in Lewistown, and 71 in both Glasgow and Jordan. Winds aren't too shabby either. 13-mile-per-hour winds in Glasgow for the time being. And over the last 3 hours, we have been looking at clear skies, except for hazy conditions down towards Helena. Heads up, that will continue throughout the night, so just be mindful of that. If you are sensitive to the air quality in the morning, you might just make sure you're taking some allergy medicine. 55 degrees in Great Falls, 59 in Hayes tonight, 56 in Lewistown, and 60 out towards Helena. Now, we are going to talk about that cool down as well as some rain chances later on, but for now, back to you.
All right, thanks, Grant. Well, officials at Yellowstone National Park are reporting a wildfire about 3 miles south of Old Faithful. In an earlier release from the park, they said the fire was started by lightning on Saturday evening and has burned around 300 acres. Officials say the fire is not burning towards Old Faithful, and staff are putting protection measures in place should it move in that direction. The Grand Loop Road south of Old Faithful between Kepler, Cascades, and West Thumb closed temporarily on Saturday at 10:30 p.m. due to smoke, and at last report, it remains closed today. Other closures include backcountry campsites OA1, OA2, and OA3, as well as the Lone Star Geyser Trail. Campfires are not currently allowed in the backcountry. Butte received a nearly $3 million grant to improve rail lines at its industrial park just south of the mining city. The grant was awarded to Butte through the Economic Development Administration. It'll fund the construction of a new rail line at the Business Development Park at the Port of Montana. The funding will add 16,000 linear feet of track to connect the two rail lines that serve the industry in that area.
It's a huge benefit in my opinion because Butte Silver Bow, the Port of Montana, is the only place in Montana that is served by two Class 1 railroads. Both UP and BNSF serve the Port of Montana.
Work on the new rail lines could begin as soon as next year. York 38 special competitors have until October 15th to complete their virtual ride. MTN's Lexi Aguayo spoke with competitors completing the course this weekend to see how they adjusted to the event being virtual this year.
The York 38 special ride is now on virtually. Competitors are tasked with completing the event with no aid stations and, more importantly, with no people around.
As you ride the course, you just see people from town that you know and people that you ride with, and so that's the best part of the race, is to see all these people come out. And so the big difference is going to be that there's just not going to be those people out there.
Mark brought along his family to serve as aid throughout the race. Another added challenge to the race this year was more weight. No aid stations means competitors are responsible for bringing their own food and other necessities.
I don't normally wear a backpack on this ride because you just have a bottle holder and get from station to station. So this time, we had to pack like 3 liters of water each.
2020 also marks Daryl and Jerry's 10th year competing in the York 38 Special as a couple. Even in a pandemic, the couple still had to finish their 10th ride.
We had to get the 10 years in. Maybe we can retire now.
It's different, but it's been a great thing because you can get out and ride your bike and to train and be away from people, and so biking's been a good thing through the pandemic.
All proceeds go to the York Volunteer Fire Department. This year they hope to raise $40,000. In York, I'm Lexi Aguayo, MTM News.
And that York Volunteer Fire Department says they hope to use the money to fix one of their 3 damaged engines. The chief says the other 2 engines have to be completely replaced. Coming up, a volunteer group on the Flathead Reservation distributes food to 300 some individuals every Friday in an effort to keep their elders safe during the pandemic. We'll tell you how they got the idea started after the break.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. Well, as the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee finalizes new federal dietary guidelines, ranchers are urging them to do more to encourage beef as part of a healthy diet. The Montana Ag Network's Russell Nemitz shares more.
6th-generation California rancher Kaya Twisselman recently told USDA and Health and Human Services officials about her firsthand experience with the benefits of beef in her diet. That's because 2 years ago, she lost over 125 pounds through small life changes, regular exercise, and a healthy diet that, yes, included beef.
Luckily, it makes it really easy when it comes to beef because beef, let's just be honest, it's delicious, right? Like if I'm going to include something in my diet, I want it to taste good, right? So beef is a nutrient dense food. You're getting more than 10 essential vitamins and nutrients in one 3-ounce package. And it's so versatile. You can pair it in so many different ways. And it was really important to me when I was really creating this healthy lifestyle for myself that I was going to incorporate foods that I loved, that I could be willing to commit to eating for the rest of my life, right? And so I'm just so proud that I get to be on this side of my health journey and be an example of what that looks like, what incorporating beef, lean beef in a healthy diet looks like, and really be a voice for our farmers and ranchers in that capacity. It's been really rewarding.
Kaya testified on behalf of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association and encourages other cattle producers to share the U.S. beef cattle industry's great story.
When we as producers or people that just enjoy beef or are an example of what that looks like in a healthy diet and lifestyle, by us sharing that voice, we're really giving people permission to say, hey, if you enjoy eating beef, you can absolutely eat it and know that you're fueling your body with the nutrients it needs. And also, you are supporting an industry that not only is taking care to create this nutritious product, but also really take care of the environment and their natural resources.
In Billings, Russell Nemitz, MTN News.
All right, thank you, Russell. And for more information about delicious and nutritious beef recipes, visit beefitswhatsfordinner.com. When coronavirus reached Montana in March, almost immediately, a volunteer group on the Flathead Indian Reservation began making grocery deliveries to a handful of people in need. Now, nearly 6 months later, hundreds of people are utilizing the volunteer group's services. MTN's Megan Mannering has the story.
When 4 p.m. on Friday rolls around, families from across the Flathead Indian Reservation make their way to the Kicking Horse Job Corps. With no questions asked, they're given food and other essential items. Tribal Representative Martin Charlo will tell you that these distribution days are the response to a community's cry for help.
People in these rural communities don't have access to a lot of variety of food or services, or the transportation to go get those services.
The initiative is led by a team of volunteers, and the driving force of their efforts is the urgency to protect their elders from COVID-19.
A lot of the community members, a lot of talk of like, how are we going to protect them? How are we going to keep them home? How are we going to feed them, so they don't have to go to the grocery store?
And what began as an emphasis on their elders has flourished into a booming operation where almost 300 individuals are served each week. Folks like Dan Webster and Vicki Thomas, for example.
Well, we're both retired, but we don't go out. We don't want to go and get the food from the stores and stuff. So this really helps us out.
Now, when families show up to distribution day, they get a little bit of everything. Here we've got produce, detergent, shampoo, got some noodles. Can't forget the beef, of course. Organizers tell me that this is enough food to last an individual an entire week or until the next distribution day. What started as a simple call to action is slowing the spread of coronavirus and bringing a community closer together.
The people who come through our drive-through are so gracious and they're so appreciative, and there's times that it's emotional because I know that we are feeding a family that needs help.
In Ronan, Megan Mannering, MTN News.
All right, thank you, Megan. And those distribution days happen every Friday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Well, temperatures falling down to 48 degrees in Cut Bank tonight. Stay tuned. Your 7-day forecast is coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
And a very good evening to you all. I hope that you have had a pleasant Sunday evening and ready to take on the work week. I know I am. Looks great outside in Lewistown. Very calm and quiet along the main strip. 75 degrees out there. Visibility 10 miles. Not looking at any hazy conditions like we are in Helena right now. Now today we did observe a very warm day. 10 to 15 degrees above the average. At 92 in Helena, 92 in Great Falls, 87 in Lewistown. As you headed out to Jordan, not quite as hot as what we've seen prior to today. 90 degrees, 92 in Havre and 88 in Cut Bank. Now in Helena, well, the average for this time of year is right around 83 degrees, with the record being set back in 1967 when it was 98. That was also the year that Aretha Franklin asked us for a little RESPECT. with her man. 71 degrees in Great Falls right now, 74 in Helena, 67 in Cut Bank, out towards Lewistown around 69 degrees, and 71 in both Glasgow and Jordan. Overall, even though we aren't seeing windy conditions right now, well, we have earlier today 29-mile-per-hour winds in Cut Bank, out towards Havre 28, 26 in Helena, and 24 in Great Falls. Over the last 3 hours, we've been looking at clear skies for the most part, not looking at any problems. We just desperately need some rain, and thankfully we're going to have a shot at it tomorrow as well as on Tuesday. As far as our fire weather concern is in place, we're looking at elevated conditions really all throughout central and north central, pretty much central Montana. There you go. That's where we're looking at the elevated fire concerns. So as we go throughout the night tonight, we are looking and expecting clear skies. As we go throughout the day tomorrow, we will start to see clouds start to move in from the southwest. That's going to bring us a partly sunny day tomorrow. By around 6 p.m., we could maybe see a stray shower or two. The smell isn't picking up the rain showers we were expecting earlier, so that's why it's just like a hit or miss, really a 10 to 20% chance. Don't bank on it. But then Tuesday comes. We're going to be looking at right around the 5:30 corridor as we make our way home from work. We're going to be looking at showers and thunderstorms vamping up that will allow for some of us to get in some good rain. And unfortunately, some of these thunderstorms, well, with cloud ground lightning, that could also be a problem. And we've seen the Storm Prediction Center, the SPC, go ahead and issue a low probability for isolated severe thunderstorms, damaging wind gusts and frequent lightning. That will be the main threats from any storms that do develop on Tuesday. As far as how much rain we could see when everything is all said and done, by this time on Tuesday, we're looking at just receiving a couple hundredths of an inch in Great Falls, as well as Lewistown, close to a tenth of an inch possible in Helena. Any thunderstorms that do move over these areas, though, you can bank that we'll see numbers bigger than that. Tomorrow, we will be looking at 10 to 20 mile per hour winds, except for our friends in Jordan, where we could be looking, as well as Glasgow now, 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts. We are expecting temperatures to really take a drop on Sunday, next Sunday, that is at 69 degrees. So I'm really excited to say that we could get some a great break from the heat that we've been looking at, as well as a chance for some showers and some thunderstorms to bring us some much needed rain. Overall, well, tonight 55 degrees in Great Falls, 56 in Lewistown, around 60 degrees in Glasgow. We are going to be looking at temperatures warming up tomorrow to 96 degrees. Chances for showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday, as well as only a slight chance on Wednesday. And for our friends in Helena, the same situation, but a better chance for showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday, as well as Wednesday. Matt?
Well, thanks, Greg. Speaking of those warmer weathers, fishing has really heated up across Montana, and in this week's Outdoor Report, Winston Greeley shows us a simple method to prepare and cook your catch.
When it comes to eating wild food, Montana's fish get overlooked. But today I'm going to talk about cooking and preparing wild fish with one of Fish Wildlife Park's fish technicians who knows the variety of fish in Montana.
Yeah, in this state we've got everything from warm water species like yellow perch in the east to cold water species like trout in the west.
There are many ways to prepare all these fish. Today we're going to look at filleting, which is a simple method that can be used for all the fish varieties. For demonstration purposes, here's a perch. Where do we begin?
So the first rule of thumb here, we'll grab the standard fillet knife, and a good place to start on a perch is right behind the pectoral fin. You can kind of lift the pec fin up, and right behind the head there's a good spot to just make your first incision all the way down to the spine, and you'll feel a real bony structure in there. That's where you're going to want to stop your first cut. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to basically work the knife along the spine all the way back to the tail. And then the next step, one of the ways that I prefer to do it, makes it pretty simple. You leave the fillet actually attached to the body. Use the anchor point right there and pop the fillet off.
And obviously you can leave the skin on as well.
Correct. The next and final step usually is just to remove the rib cage.
So we have some skin on and skin off fillets here. What are some ways to cook them?
Yeah, there are many ways to cook it. If you've got your skin off fillets, you could deep fry it, you could pan fry it, you could bake it. If you've got skin on, you've got pan-sear, barbecue, smoking. The possibilities are endless.
And there's a lot of recipes out there online, so people can check those out. So really a simple way to enjoy Montana's fish is to fillet and cook.
Yeah, it doesn't get any more simple than this.
Alongside Adam Strainer, I'm Winston Greeley, out among Montana's fish, wildlife, and parks.
And Winston says an electric fillet knife is a great tool for this filleting method. We'll be right back.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. 1.1 million people filed new jobless claims last week, according to the Labor Department. Meanwhile, there were nearly 15 million continuing claims for unemployment last week, and many are struggling to live off the benefits they are receiving. Alicia Nieves shows us where Congress is at with a new stimulus plan and why the president's executive order won't help some of those who need it the most.
The House will be in order.
Congress is still in a stalemate over a new stimulus package, which means those unemployed have to live off their state's normal unemployment benefits right now.
The national average for unemployment benefits dropped from nearly $400 a week before the pandemic to just $308 a week in June of this year, in particular because so many low-wage workers, were losing their jobs.
Andrew Stetner, a senior fellow at the Century Foundation, explains many low-wage workers could be getting far less than the average state weekly benefit. For example, in a state like Hawaii, some low-wage workers could be getting the state's minimum payout of just $5 a week right now. In other states like Louisiana, Connecticut, North Carolina, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Delaware, their minimums aren't much higher either. In fact,
all but 9 states have minimum benefits below $100, per week.
Here's why that's important, especially now.
If you don't get $100 in unemployment benefits from the state, you can't get Trump's new lost wage assistance.
The president's executive order for lost wage assistance is an additional $300 a week from the federal government for those on unemployment and is supposed to run through the end of the year. It's the only stopgap in place to help those unemployed right now, but it doesn't help those who may need it the most. That's why many are urging Congress to quickly come to an agreement on the next stimulus bill that helps everyone struggling.
It's a very difficult period. I think there is the will to continue federal unemployment benefits. The Trump executive order promises them through December 27th, but there's not enough money to fulfill that promise. So I think there is the will to do the right thing, but there's a lot of things that are getting in the way.
I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Now, the CARES Act originally set July 31st as the final day for paying the additional weekly benefits, but states that disperse the unemployment benefits on weeks that end on Saturdays or Sundays ended the extra benefits on the week ending Saturday, July 25th or Sunday, July 26th. Sometimes in life we get so caught up in the big things that we forget to pay attention to the smaller details. But on Friday, a group of teens in Bozeman made sure they focused on every little detail while giving back to their community. MTN's Annie Johnson brings us the full story.
When's the last time you got the opportunity to give back to your community and in return you're getting personal growth and lessons to carry you on throughout your life?
This is something that doesn't happen very often, and the fact that we get to do this during a pandemic is it's pretty amazing.
Teens with the Gallatin Composite Squadron with the Civil Air Patrol spent their Friday cleaning the historic World War II B-25 aircraft.
It's a great service opportunity for them.
And a lesson about taking care of the small things.
So if the aircraft's kind of dirty, what does that say to the public about maintenance? If we're not detailed about the cleaning, what about the detailed about the maintenance?
And the cadets seemed to get just as much as they were giving.
You can see how your work benefited someone else. That in itself is such a valuable life lesson to learn, that when you volunteer your time and help someone else, it helps you.
The historical component was just an added bonus.
Living the history almost by entering the aircraft and kind of seeing from the perspective of the crew of what it would be like operating and pretty much going around in this aircraft.
Today's cleaning opportunity could not have come at a better time, as cleaning and personal hygiene is now more important than ever.
Because it's all about diligence, right? Are you going to be faithful in the small things? Are you going to watch out for washing your hands every time? Are you going to keep the aircraft clean every time? It's a lifestyle.
The aircraft is available for public viewing now until next Thursday. Then it will be available for public tours. Reporting at the Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
All right, thank you, Annie. We'll be back to check your weekly forecast one more time right after this break.
Tomorrow, 96 degrees, increasing clouds. It will be hot. A better chance for showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday, some of which could be severe, but they'll be isolated in nature. Main threats will be damaging wind gusts as well as lightning. And we are looking at a cool down headed our way next weekend.
Well, quickly before we go, this is from the Napa County Sheriff's Office in California. A deputy who was working to protect homes in the wake of wildfires stopped to help a hungry goat. They say a group of goats was left behind after their owner's home burned in a wildfire, and when they shared lunch with him, turns out he's a big fan of graham crackers. Look how cute that is. Always good to see that. Love that interaction, especially in the wake of the wildfires. I'm sure he appreciated that graham cracker. All right, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you back on Montana This Morning in just a couple hours.